Katrina Brittingham, and I am the host of High Tea with Me. I'm here to talk to you today about starting your own business. During this unprecedented time when you may have been laid off or had your hours cut or just have some more time on your hands because of different things related to COVID. It's a great time to reflect on your life. This actually happens to be my birthday month, so I do a lot of reflecting at the last quarter of the year for my business and pretty much the first quarter of the year, thinking about my life in general and if I'm meeting my goals and living the life that I wanted to live. And so this can be a time for you that just automatically was built in simply because we found ourselves in this situation. I know I don't want to go another year in my life in the same place I was the year prior, especially if I'm doing some things that I didn't necessarily want to do. I always think about how to make my life better and getting me to the place where I want to do what I do for a living every day. Because this is something that I was taught when I was young. You spend a majority of your day doing whatever it is you do, your job, your business. I don't want to be miserable. And I always made that in my heart that I did not want to be miserable doing a job from 9 to 5 just to say that I have a job. And it's not to say that you don't have to, that you don't take a job or you don't have a job, that sometimes you don't like what you do and then you just jump off and quit. You make a plan and find a way to transition off of it. It happens. Sometimes you just have to take whatever is out there and available to you. But right now, we're going to go through some things that you can start. You can run a business for under $1,000. So it may be a way for you to invest the money that you've gotten from the government or in the form of your tax refund or even in the stimulus. Um, I'm not going to tell you how to spend your stimulus because it really depends on your situation, but this is an option if this is something that you can do with that money. And if you are good at designing websites, if you are good, have a good eye for graphic design, you might want to consider being a website designer. So for a website, to be a website designer, all you need is a laptop, a hard drive, and Wi-Fi. So we all know that having a well put together website is crucial to any business that wants to sell to their clients. And so if you get that skill, you can get clientele from all over and you can do it from anywhere because you have a laptop and Wi-Fi. So your website, as people know, and companies' websites know, is that this is the first impression that a lot of people get from the company. So because that is the first impression that people have, you want to make sure that a website is well designed. And as a web designer, you can work on your coding skills as well as your SEO skills and knowledge. If you don't know what SEO is, then you need to do some more studying before you become a web designer. And I would recommend for any industry that you are going into, whether it's business or whether you're working for an organization, that you need to know as much as you can about that area. The next job that you can have that's online is as an accountant. I have an accounting degree, so I could do this, but that's not my bread and butter, and that's not what makes me happy and warm and fuzzy at the end of the day. But believe it or not, you can do this and you don't have to have a suit and tie, and you can work. All you need is a laptop, an accounting certification, a knowledge of accounting. You can do it manually as far as with spreadsheets or Google Sheets, or you can have a system that you use like QuickBooks or something like that to help manage people's accounts, especially if you are a business. They do have software for accountants who do this professionally as opposed to an individual account. And you can put your clients in there and work with them and be remote. So you can do that. as an option. You can also even be an auditor. I was an auditor at one point for a company that I worked for, and I started seeing those positions available as telecommuting or remote positions, work from home positions, because you don't necessarily have to go into the office to complete that work. So if you say were like me and got an accounting degree and was like, I do not want to look at debits and credits all day. I want to have more of a story behind it, find out what's going on. If something needs to be fixed, find out what's going on and research and do stuff like that. Then auditing might be for you, and there's a way for you to do that as well. Matchmaking services. This is becoming big as we were already moving more and more into online things that people just didn't want to necessarily do the bar scene or the club scene anymore. And so they wanted to meet people online. So you can create your own matchmaking business and service. Um, and you can have some clientele that is not necessarily mainstream. It could be companies and things like that. So you can go through Zentrell, who has people who help matchmake, and they ask for your qualifications and things like that, and people will bid on you based on your qualifications. So again, you do need to have qualifications to start a business. You do need to be educated in a certain way. You need to either know the product or service that you're selling, and then you have a team that works on everything else, or you just need to learn the business, learn the ropes of the business. um, Tech support. You can be a tech support company. Companies were outsourcing that anyway, so they could have 24-hour, 365 access for their people for certain things like technology companies and things like that. And so they will hire you to provide tech support. Again, they will look at your area of expertise. Do you have a knowledge in what they do? Do you have expertise in what they do? And so you can do that and make some extra money and build a whole company to provide services. You can be the emergency services person that's in the morning and on the weekends or late at night for people who have like a shutdown. Most companies are global anyway, and so you could be the person who does the tech support for their China company, the company in China, the company in India, something like that. So you can, put yourself out there and work those hours that are not necessarily business hours, and it can pay off for you big. Editorial services. If you are good at finding typos in emails, if you are that person that finds the misspelling in a newsletter, um, and if you're someone who's well versed in grammar and you love to read and write, then being an online editor may be a great option for you. There are several ways to approach this business. You could create software that auto edits content, or you can edit the content yourself, or you can do as Wordy does, an online editorial service that does and acts as a go-between for those who need content to be edited and the freelance editors. So basically the client and the contractor. So you can work and be that go-between for those people that start a company that way. If you want to be the freelancer, then you can work for a company or contract with a company that's Wordy, or put your services out there. It's not really a contract. You put your services out there and they get a cut of whatever you make, and everything, because you've gotten services through them, through their advertising and things like that. You can be a digital marketer. So marketing has become more digital anyway as we went to social media, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and you have people who specialize in digital marketing, social media marketing, and public relations. So if you're good at that, you can start your own company doing that. And you can make some good money off of that. Um, you can focus on B2C, which is business to client, business to business. You can make sure that you are putting yourself out there as far as a marketing person. If you are marketing, then I would say hire that web developer that we talked about earlier. Because if you're in marketing and you say you're in marketing and you have a marketing business, the first thing I'm going to do is go to your website to see if you market yourself well. Because if you can't market yourself, how in the world are you going to market me? So you want to make sure that you have that up and running. You want to make sure that things like that are smooth. And again, it will cost you less than $1,000 to start up. So that's something that you want to consider. You can be a travel expert. You can go through this through a couple of different ways too. You can be someone who you're used to traveling and you know how things are. So you can be a travel blogger or something like that. You can actually work with a travel agency online as a associate, and they'll give you your own website and things like that, and you will build in your clientele. Or you can create your own travel agency. Again, you would have to find out what you need to start that. And if you need help with that, business coach, we can help you start your business. But you can find out what you need to do to be a travel agent if that's what you like to do. You can be a life coach. So if you have experience coaching people through life and giving, you know, great pointers in different things in life, like how to organize your closet or declutter your life and things like that. By decluttering your closet, I've seen life coaches do things like this. Or if you have some counseling experience where you can help people through some issues while they're starting a business during COVID-19, like people's lives are turned upside down. You can be a life coach for that. If you have that, you have a passion for helping people, you have a passion for travel, because you might be able to travel to where people are, or maybe not, because again, we're doing social distancing. You can do virtual meetings with people to talk to them about what they need and their services, things like that. So one thing that you can do also, if you have a business acumen, because I do believe that you do need to have it to be a business and entrepreneur coach. I am a small business and entrepreneur coach. I have 20 years of experience in business and accounting, process improvement, building departments, saving departments, hundreds of millions of dollars, things like that. And so I took that expertise and took it into a business, along with getting coaching certifications, because it's one thing to have the knowledge, is another thing to be able to relay it to people so that they understand and that you are being effective with them and they're getting the results that they need. So again, you can do coaching and consulting, but when you do, you want to make sure that you have the tools to make sure that you're great at what you do. Content creator or a content strategist. There are some people who are just good at writing things and making it sound wonderful. That's a content creator. So companies need newsletters, they need emails drafted, they need general content for their website, or even podcasts. A content writer will be perfect for this. So if you are good at making things sound wonderful, someone writes you a sentence and say, this is what my show is about. This is what the article is about. This is what this is about. And if you are great at making that spin, taking people's words and spinning it to make it sound wonderful, then a content creator you can very well be. So all you need for that is a computer, Wi-Fi, and a telephone as well, to talk to your people. You want good word processing software so you can put things together the way they need to, in a format to present it out to your clientele. So these are the areas that will help you to launch a business for under $1,000. One that I know that you can do definitely for under $1,000 is working for VIP Kid as an online English as a second language instructor. All you need is a computer with a webcam. So you can have a desktop, you can have a laptop, you can have a laptop with a webcam built in it. You can have a Wi-Fi. They actually recommend you have a corded connection. But if you contact me, I can let you know how you can kind of have both, the best of both worlds. If you contact me and let me know. My email address is info@ventureready.net, and my telephone number is 888-712-4956. And we can have that discussion. But again, you're working on your own because you're a 1099. You can build in as many hours as you need or as little. You do have to market yourself to the parents. It may take a while for you to build up clientele. It took me a little bit longer to build up clientele because it wasn't like my main thing that I was doing. I just did it because a friend of mine mentioned it to me, was like, oh, remember you used to teach, this could be something else that you can add for another stream of income. And I'm always one for multiple streams of income, just from things that I have been through in my business career, and how if you put all your eggs in one basket, if a hole forms in that basket, all of your eggs are going to fall out. And so you want to make sure that you have multiple streams of income as well. But let's start with this, the one while you're getting things together for COVID, and you can move on to those other ones. But I started with them because I just wanted to see what the process was like. And so I went through the process and I started teaching, and I actually love it. So I do maybe 1 or 2 classes a day with my clientele that I have built up and everything like that. And so I can actually take it anywhere because have laptop, have Wi-Fi, will travel. And so there's a way for you to get in, and it definitely cost me less than $1,000 to get started. It was maybe even $100 because some things I already had. I had Wi-Fi, I already had the computer, I already had certain things that was already set up in my house. So it really depends on where you are and how much it will cost you to get set up. They do make sure, as long as you have a bachelor's degree, that you can get certified. And that's not a cost. They actually take you through a certification program and everything like that. It's self-study, self-paced. You get through that, and then you go through the interview process, and you start right away putting yourself out there to be booked for services. So I do thank you for coming and listening. Hopefully you've gotten something that you can take with you to start a business, maybe start a side hustle, or just something to consider. Maybe you want to go to school for something and learn something. So I do thank you again. I hope that you be safe during COVID. I do also want to mention my book, Why Not Me? Overcoming Insecurity to Gain Success, is now available on Amazon.com. It talks about my story a little bit more, how I went from corporate to starting my own business, and the different things that I experienced in between that got me to where I am and helped me to gain the confidence to do the things that I'm doing, including this TV show. So come on out and get the book, and I will see you next week.